Hello, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Flores. I just wanted to start off by saying that I did find the culture interview assignment to be very interesting. It was somewhat also informative. I got to learn about, somebody else's experiences, about just what they've been through as far as, racism, experiencing that in through their own eyes. Um, so, my interviewee was actually my best friend. Her name is Stephanie Aguilar. She is 24 years old. She's a Mexican American. Her parents are from Tijuana and they were born and raised there. And then they just came here about at the age of about 20 years old or so. Um, she comes from a family of five, her two parents, and then it's her and her two sisters. Stephanie has graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology, and she is now a autism behavior therapist. So that's what she decided to do. How was the experience? So I would say that the experience was pretty positive itself. There was not really any like uncomfortableness or anything like that because I was aware that that could have been a thing, as the instructions mentioned, to just kind of be cautious and I guess kind of sense the vibe of how the interviewee was feeling about asking certain questions because they were a little bit more personal than others. She's my best friend, so it was pretty comfortable. I was able to ask her all of the questions and we were all good. It was also like a learning experience because I got to hear things from her that I guess because I haven't really ever asked these types of things to other people because I don't want to be too nosy. I don't want to come off like I'm being rude or kind of intrusive. So I did kind of enjoy the activity because of that because I just kind of wanted to hear her story, how I guess how she's been through these things, how her family has gone through these types of things, what they've been told. And then of course I thought it was interesting. I did also think it was a little bit disheartening because of some of the things that Stephanie mentioned to me about what she has, not she herself but her parents have been through, because I guess a lot of us are not aware that racism is still a big thing today. It's still going on. It's still around. uh so just kind of hearing her talk and her story, I guess it brought awareness again in letting me know that it's still a thing. It's still going on. It's subtle racism is still going on, which is more subtle racism is what it's called, subtle. It's very like you can't notice it as much. It's kind of, you know, hidden in there. I guess you would say like almost it could be passive aggressive. So it might not hit you straight up as racism, even though it is. So unfortunately, yeah, I would say some of it was a little bit disheartening. The takeaways for me, as I mentioned, is that there was more awareness for me of what racism is for people of color. Me being light skinned, as you can see, I don't come across racism very often. I have, maybe a handful of times, and I mean that's it. But really hasn't been that bad as some other people have experienced it. It also puts into perspective the challenge that immigrant parents face and how they just kind of they put their own pride aside and everything like that because they want that better future for their children, so they come to the states and just give their whole life up just to give their children that better future. And as I mentioned before, colorism and racism are still happening. Even people of their own color, they're choosing, you know, people that are more fair skinned, that are lighter skinned, they choose them over the people who are darker skinned, which it's really just hurting your whole people. It's just hurting the whole race. And I just feel that another takeaway is that there should be respect taught at a young age. I feel that as soon as children start school, they should already be told, they should be exposed to all the different races, and basically learn that that is okay, that it's basically everybody is the same, that they should be treated the same. And I feel like that starts when the child is young, because they're still absorbing that information, they're still learning, and they're still learning what is okay. So they would be very accepting and hopefully develop a more respectful and positive attitude towards other people that come from cultures that are not their own. And this activity was good for me because, as I mentioned, I got to learn more about my friend, her family, their experience. And I just think it was positive because this showed me to be more mindful of what I say when I do meet new people or just anything like that. Just being more mindful of what I say before I speak. I also enjoyed learning about the similarities that me and Stephanie shared in our cultures growing up. So I found it to be kind of nostalgic in some ways. And as I said, I am aware that racism is still happening, but I choose not to give that my energy and not to focus or give attention to that. So, as I said, just being more mindful of what I say to other people and being accepting and trying to keep an open mind when interacting with other people that don't come from the same background or culture as I do. Thank you.